The defense primarily carried Oklahoma State in the 2021 run that ended up being very epic. I do see this season being pretty comparable, but I also expect the running back room to have a lot of say in how this season goes. So welcome on Tatum Bell today, and we'll get after it.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your listen here on Sunday. We're live. The running back room is going to be massively important to the success of this season, in my opinion. So, who better to bring on the Sherman Sissel Sunday show? Our guy, Tatum Bell and Jason Sherman. How are we doing today, fellas? Are we ready to get after it? We're ready to chop it up. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Absolutely.
Sir.
All right, Tatum. So everybody watched the rise of the 2021 season, kind of obviously behind the defense and the running game being mostly Jaylen Warren. This year, we seem to have a little bit of depth at that position. But one of the things I wanted to ask you real quick, so Elijah Collins, right, he ran for 988 yards a couple years ago, Michigan State, got stuck behind Kenneth Walker after that. And then he comes to Oklahoma State, and it's gangbusters, man. He is absolutely killing it. He looks like, part of that missing piece in the backfield we needed. And this last couple of weeks, he's been on the bike more than he's on the field. Help us, right? Help me understand. When you get cramps, when they're so bad that it locks your body up to the level that you almost can't talk, how long does that typically take to recover from, get rehydrated from?
It might take a day or so. What they usually do is either take you to the cold tub and get you IVs pumped into you right away and just make you to start down in the fluids. But when your body's already at that point, man, only thing they can do is just put ice on you, cold water on you, just to kind of relax your body, man. It's pretty rough. I've had it happen to me a couple of times during training camp, so. It can happen, man, and that's the last thing you want. That basically you got to take care of yourself before practice. You can't wait to practice or right when it's time to practice to start drinking. You got to start drinking all day at night as well.
Well, Jason, you've got a son that's a beast of an athlete. Is this hydration conversation something that you guys have to have on a pretty regular basis as well, buddy?
Absolutely. I coached him all the way through Little League, and now he's a freshman in high school this year, and he also is a really good wrestler, so he understands the importance of taking care of his body and maintaining his weight, eating right. Like, I don't ever have to fuss with him about what he's putting in his body. He doesn't even hardly ever drink Coke. We go to a fast food joint, and he gets like a grilled chicken sandwich and a water. He's super disciplined.
And my kid is totally opposite. Mine is totally opposite, man. I'm trying to get him into more fruits. He'll eat his vegetables, but he's not big on fruit. So I'm trying to get him into fruits like protein shakes. Like, bro, when you come home from practice, you're an athlete. You gotta treat your body as your temple. You gotta take care of your body. And he's finally, I think, starting to get it with man, you know what? Those fruits gave me boost and this, stuff like that. He's starting to say to me, like, man, this stuff I've been trying to tell you for years, but getting him and sodas, oh Lord, that's
the worst.
I gotta hide him. I have to hide him because he'll drink all of them. I have to hide him. So
that's the worst thing for your body in this heat, man.
Exactly, man. And this heat too, especially down here in Texas. I'm constantly on him and his teammates about hydration, man, because we can't afford to have any guys passing out.
Well, I'm sure your son is very well aware that when it comes to the strength and conditioning portion of things, we have the best guy in America doing it in Rob Glass. So that should be some, realistically speaking, man, it was kind of interesting hearing some of the transfers talk about why they were coming to Oklahoma State recently, right? A lot of it's obviously the camaraderie, the family, the nature, and the way that you can kind of focus on something in Stillwater. But whenever you're looking at it nowadays, we have the only $1 million strength and conditioning coach in America. If everything's about most likely getting to the next level, right? That's why most people are going to play college ball. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is that going to be something that can be more of a sales pitch than I think some universities? Like, does Oklahoma State's body by glass give them a leg up in certain areas when it comes to recruiting, or is it kind of a wash?
I think it's kind of a wash because
Okay.
everybody at OSU level and higher, and just the Big 12, SEC, all those guys have good strength. Might not be good as Glass, might not be the best
Right.
head coach as Gundy, but they still gonna have good facilities, all the equipment to use. Might SEC might have more stuff than the Big 12, because they get more money than us. So I don't think that really factors, but it could be a selling point, especially in Stillwater. It's already, like you said, a home feeling, and having body by glass that gets you to the next level. Why not?
I do think that new human performance center that they're fixing to build could be a good selling point, though. It's going to be right across the street from the stadium, and you can get all your recoveries. Apparently, they're going to be able to do some surgeries and stuff there, so that might be a big thing down the road too.
They were building it when we was down for the camp, and I was asking questions about it. They said it's gonna be like one state of the art type thing. So I'm excited about that. So
That's cool.
that'll be the new selling point.
Yeah, that's cool.
We have all the facilities and the locker rooms and the coaching staff. We've always had it, but a lot of other schools are now catching up. Like, we've always had the locker room decked out, even though we just got it remodeled again. But we've always had the screens, and Boone Pickens has always looked out for us. So. We just need to just get to the final 4 games. That's what we need to get to.
Bingo.
Well, you're obviously not right, and so I see you over there, Jason, rocking your Blanchard gear. You could also say you're rocking your Detroit Lions Malcolm Rodriguez gear if we really wanted to stretch it, right? We could.
Detroit Lions Tatum Bell gear too, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, and not only that, so the irony here, brother, is Jason's a big Broncos fan.
Okay.
Lifelong.
And obviously, you have a lot of affinity for Denver. We were talking the other day about, some of the games that you're going to be attending when you come down here. When you look at Oklahoma State, from when you were here to now, what do you think the biggest difference is as far as getting some guys to the NFL? Because it was kind of a rarity, right? People like you and Darren Williams weren't all the time at Oklahoma State for a while.
Right.
And now you're seeing it pretty much every year. We're getting somebody in the league, and that somebody is typically making a name for himself. What do you think has changed the most or allowed this to evolve this way?
Man, you know what? It reminds me of my high school, DeSoto, Texas. Like, when I left high school, we was like the cream of the crop, but we wasn't always at the top. But we was, like right there. And now that I'm been gone and I'm back here home and I'm seeing all of it, I'm seeing how it's still like a rolling machine. That's how I feel about OSU. OSU is like, we have everything you need to get where you want to be. We play the competition. We have good coaches. And if you come and if you get your shine on in the Big 12, you're going to be a highly rated draft pick. So why not? And then we right next to Dallas. So it's like all the Texas kids that want to, leave the state and not necessarily want to be too far from mom and dad. 4 hours is right up the road. But I'm loving it, man. Having at least 1 or 2 guys in the draft every year, or even free agent make a team, or just hey, man, Gundy just got it going on right now. And those guys aren't even 5 stars. We don't even get 5 stars. We just 3 stars, and we just develop them and groom them and turn them into young men, and they produced on the field, and let's keep it going.
What were you coming out of high school, Tatum? Do you remember how many stars you got?
I was a 5-star too. I've tried to tell my son all that all the time. He'd be like, "Oh, Daddy, we didn't have social media, so I had to pull out all my news clippings for him." So he like, "Man, I don't want to, man, that's so fake." And I'm like, "Man, okay, man, this is what it was." I was the first DeSoto kid as well go to OSU, and at the time I was one of the highest rated recruits under Coach Simmons. So. But now them guys, it's still some big guys coming in here and there. We don't necessarily, like I say, get all the 5 stars, but we get some top recruits. And when we get to that running back room, both of those guys were top recruits coming out of Texas.
Yeah, Jason, I remember the Sporting News had Tatum listed as the fastest running back in America coming out of high school.
I could say that. Yeah. I probably could say that. It was some dogs.
I sent you a copy of that article, remember?
Yeah.
Well,
And I got some news clippings. I got to pull them out and I have to show them to you. But
You
your
need to
Wikipedia
let Junior know, bro. You need to let Junior know that Dad was certified. All right.
I try.
See, your Wikipedia page says you ran a 4.35 in high school and a 10.2600.
Yeah. My fast time was 10.2. I always been a 4.3 kid. I think the last time I ran a 4.4 was like 8th grade. I remember that. 9th grade on out, I was 4.3. I was always 4.3. My slowest 100 was a 10.6, and my fastest was a 10.2. So speed was always my thing. I was one of them guys that knew how to use it, So I didn't have too much wiggle. But like my son has the wiggle, but I had the speed. But he had speed as well. But I was that blazing speed, and I know how to use it. So that was the difference. You got to know how to use your speed. A lot of guys that's fast don't know how to use it, or the coaches don't know how to put them in position.
One play that comes to mind when you were at Oklahoma State that you really showed your speed off. I don't know what y'all called it. Do you remember that play where you had an offset fullback and they would fake it to the fullback and then pitch it back out to the running back? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
You go the opposite direction.
Yep.
I don't know what y'all called that, but you caught one of those. I can't remember who we were playing, and you banged your head off the goalpost like that fast. It was just gone.
I remember we played Texas on one of them, and I kind of tight walked the sideline again.
Yeah, like you kind of tight walked, and yeah.
That was fun. Then in NFL, I had that same play against the Redskins and went like 60 yards on them. That was nice.
Yep.
In the rain against Portis. Portis had came back. That was his first game back since being traded.
Hey, Tatum, who was the before we jump over to some of the NFL guys, right? It'll segue into it. Mm-hmm. Whenever you were in Stillwater, what was the game that you were most not excited about? Like, I get Bedlam and stuff like that, but what team did you know you were going to own? Like, when you saw this team on the schedule, you're like, oh, I'm finna get 200 that day. Because I know you owned
Kansas, Kansas, Baylor. They all was, pretty sorry back when I played. Those were stat games. We played those games, you got to get yours and get out because you won't be playing the whole game. So You got to get yours early. Definitely, Baylor, Kansas. I'm trying to think who else was scrubs back then. Texas A&M, we kind of started to own them, my junior and senior year. They were overhyped every year, but Nebraska was overhyped. They beat us. We beat them my junior, my senior. They beat us, but we should have beat them. Them guys was really sorry. But Baylor and Kansas were for sure back then the stat games.
That's legit. All right, Jason. I know you got a couple nostalgic style of questions for Tatum still yet. So I'll kick one off for you. I'll kick one off. What was your favorite play at Oklahoma State? Was it 32 power? Was it a trap play, counter play? What was the play that you felt like was your bread and butter?
Oh, I loved the outside zone. That was my calling, a zone runner. But every time we ran the counter for some reason, I always popped it. That's where I scored on the Texas Tech game, the 95-yarder, and I had a couple good ones on Southern Miss in that bowl game, in the Houston Bowl. But the counter, for some reason, I always during that time with Miles, and it always worked, man. I don't know why. We had the guys to do it, but we was both. We did more majorities zone, but when we mixed in the gap, it always worked. But I had to say that was probably my favorite play.
So you actually had a phenomenal. You had a phenomenal time in Denver under the zone blocking scheme. Yep. Oklahoma State's had a zone blocking scheme for a long time. We just went away from it. So ironically enough, you've ran power schemes, you've ran zone blocking schemes. Mm-hmm. We just got rid of the zone stuff, and now we're kind of going to this power stuff. What is the biggest differences for fans to be able to kind of just put it in a nice little box? What's the biggest difference between zone and power?
Zone,
from a running back's perspective.
When you run and counter, the gap blocking, you want to be more patient. You got to let the guys get to the blocks, kick out the blocks on the other guy that's wrapping around. Let him wrap around and sort out the linebacker. You just can't ram it in there. Of course, you're going to end up having to ram it up in there, but it's a little bit more patience. They want you thinking a gap. don't start out when a lot of running backs mess up on the counter. When they get the ball, they want to get it and bounce it, and the hole is really on the inside. You know what I mean? So that was what I had to learn because because I always struggled running it. And then when I got it down, I'm like, okay, they want me to hit it inside. But the zone is one cut and downhill. Just punch your foot downhill. And that suited my strengths best because I was fast.
Right. Yeah.
Make that plant downhill. If you wrong, hey, just get the ugly 4 yards. That was always my thought process. Let me get 4 yards every carry. And if you wrong or not, just move the pile. But zone will be more so instinctive, one cut downhill zone, and with the counter and the gap scheme, it'll be more patience.
Can you get better at having vision?
I think that's really like one of the running back's best traits is your eyes. Guys that have the eyes or anticipate where the player is going to be going. Those are the guys that have usually the most success. Done their film work and understand how guys going to take on blocks and when at the point of contact. But I don't know if you can improve it. I don't really know about that. That's a tough question. Me, I've always kind of I've always kind of seen it happen or seeing it happen before it happened. So that was kind of always my kind of gift, I guess. Vision and speed. Because I wasn't the biggest guy and didn't have the wiggle, so I had to rely on hitting the right hole or hitting it fast enough.
What do you think, Jason?
I don't know if he's improved at it, but my son, I see it with my son. I played on the offensive line. I played inside linebacker. My son's got a little more wiggle to him, as Tatum says, than I do. So he's a little more athletic than I was at that age. So I don't know if his vision is improved, but just the speed of the game, like he sees things a little faster.
Nice.
He picks it up and he recognizes it. Now that he's in there playing with some of these older kids, these juniors and seniors, as the first time he got a couple reps, it was like his eyes were this big and he's just getting the shit knocked out of him. And now it's kind of seen it a little bit where he's like, okay, now I got to wait. When we run those counters, they want me to cut it back, bang it up inside, and then try to cut it back because that's what everybody's flowing. Boom, cut it back. I'm going.
Yeah. It comes with the experience as well. Like my son played varsity last year. He's a freshman, and he played majority special teams. He rotated at receiver, but he wasn't getting any passes. Now he's like a focal point on the offense. And that last year, all that trials and tribulations, him not getting the ball, and all that's coming to fruition. Now he's out there making plays. He knows where the game is slowed down to him, like you said, your son. Once the game slows down to you, that's when you start to see the success.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and just to kind of help with that, the game slowing down to you basically it just means you're understanding your reads and you're able to identify them so much more quickly that your body's already going to do the right job, right? I think that's right because you hear that all the time. People say, well, the game slows down. And I think that some people don't exactly get the full measurement of why. And basically it's like if you're a quarterback and you're in an RPO, you're reading the outside defensive end. Well, once you understand it a little bit more, you're not just reading the end. You're reading his knuckles and the way his feet shift and the way his hips. So you have different tails, different reads. And so I feel like sometimes that seems to help somebody. Somebody had an interesting anything pop up here. What are your thoughts on Jaylen Warren battling with Najee Harris up there in Pittsburgh?
Man, I think he's the better back. I think so. He has the more explosion. He's faster. He has more burst. He's got
that getaway speed.
Yeah, and he can pass block. Remember last year he was cleaning all them blitzers up on them in the A gaps. So man, they trust him on third downs. He can catch. He's fast. It's only a matter of time. And Najee's always hurt. I know they upgraded their line this year, but yeah, I'm gonna be picking up Warren late in my fantasy drafts.
There you go.
I'm glad to see him do this so early in his career too, because better than anybody the short shelf life of a running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
So get that bag while you can, young man. Like
absolutely
get it.
And then especially get on the field, make a name for yourself, try to take over that role. Like I say, I could see him beating out Najee at the end of the season. I could see Warren being the guy. Well, we have 3 guys in the league right now, 3 running backs, right? We got
we got Justice Hill, Chuba Hubbard, Jaylen Warren.
Yeah, 3 guys out.
And Chuba's going to be the starter in Carolina.
Yeah.
Is he over
yeah.
Sanders, over Miles Sanders?
And dude, man, they really, really, really like what they have at Justice Hill because he's in
I like him.
going into year 6 now.
Yeah.
If they didn't love him, like, you know what I mean? They wouldn't keep paying him extra money to give him bigger contracts to keep being a backup. The Ravens see something in Justice that the world hasn't got to see yet. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of like Kendall Hunter. Remember Kendall with the Niners? Like they loved him and they kept him around for years as a third down specialist kind of back. But you could tell, I think they wanted to see if he could ever work his way into an all day, every day guy.
And I think Warren definitely will be the guy. I've seen Chuba, carry the load. It's a new scheme, so hopefully he can win that position. And then Hill, Dobbins been holding out or something been going on with Dobbins. I don't know necessarily, but the other guys, I think Hill Justice is right there to start, compete for that job. Then you get to play with Lamar Jackson, man. How cool is that?
Well, okay, speaking of Lamar Jackson, speaking of Justice Hill and the Ravens, another guy that's been killing it is Tylan Wallace. I am a little surprised, to be honest with you, that Tylan Wallace is getting more shine than James Washington per se. James is kind of still doing his thing, but he had a beautiful, beautiful couple plays the other day with the Colts. Hopefully he can continue to carve it out. But Jason, I'll ask you, man, with Tylan Wallace doing his thing right now, and some of the wide receivers we have in the NFL, who do you think is on the roster right now that is not only an NFL guy, but do you think Oklahoma State has a first round wide receiver on the roster right here, right now? Yeah,
I do, but I don't know if his size is going to allow it. Brennan Presley's got all the intangibles to play in the league. He's got speed. His hands are fantastic. He can jump out of the gym. He never runs the wrong route. He's always helping guys line up correctly. Like the dude, and he's a return specialist. The dude is explosive. And to me, what's the kid's name from Alabama that won the Heisman Trophy? The receiver that won the Heisman Trophy?
Devontae Smith.
To me, Brennan Presley's got everything Devontae Smith has. It's one of the same, but he plays at Oklahoma State. He's a little smaller, come from a small school in Oklahoma. So we'll see. But I really do think Brennan will have a legit chance. Maybe not to go in the first round, but he will make a lot of money in the NFL.
All right, Tatum.
Well, I agree as well.
Okay, so you've had to get more familiar with wide receiver. You get to watch your son do it, right? You already had a lot of familiarity. When you look at that, okay, let's take BP off the table. Jason stole BP. Other than BP, do you think that there's somebody on the roster that's a potential first round style of guy?
I like Bray. It's 85. Is Bray coming back?
Bray, yeah.
Bray, I know he was hurt last year, and
yep.
And I like didn't we get them two twins from Santa Fe? I like their body types. They got the body types. They got the body types. I know they haven't produced on the field, made a name for themselves, but I remember, I kind of keep up with, a little bit.
Yeah.
So I know those guys. I saw them last spring. I'm like, man, them guys look good to be freshmen. And I can just imagine once, get some years with Glass. But JD Bray and Presley have to be my first two as of right now.
I think that's fair. And you know what? And Mr. Andrew threw in the comment here. DeJon Stribling has gotten significantly better. When you look at the film from DeJon Stribling at Washington State, right, and you're hearing how much faster he's got here and how much more elusive and versatile he's got here in Stillwater, man, it has me pretty excited about this wide receiver core. The depth might be a slight issue, but at the end of the day, I think talent will definitely be able to hold up and win out. All right, so Tatum, whenever you look at our schedule, do you think there's a game that kind of might end up tripping us up? I know obviously you got Cincinnati for homecoming, you got BYU to end the year. That's always a little bit scary. We got to go to Houston and to the bounce house in the last few weeks of the season as well. The front half of the season, I guess that's even a better question. What do you think our record going into Bedlam is? Are we 7-1, 8-0, 6-2? What do you think, buddy?
The games that scare me, the Iowa State game I think we go to Iowa State, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. First conference game.
They always compete with us, and it's always a good game. Their defense coordinator pretty good. And then we got K-State, which is a get back game. We owe them big time. So
that's in BPS on a Friday night too.
And it's a Friday night, right. So that's gonna be a fun game. So I know it's gonna be hard it's gonna be easy to get up for them two games. But like you say, going into Bedlam, I want to say 6-0. What is that? 6 or 7-0?
I mean, that'd be okay. I like it.
If we staying healthy and we find a quarterback, I know he said they're gonna play multiple, but if we find one that can, get the plays, get the ball to the guys, we'll see, man. I'm excited, man. That that's always the first thing, the quarterback, man.
Yeah, and I think one for one,
Jason?
I think 1 for 1, starter for starter, Oklahoma State's just as good as anybody in this league. Now we'll just have to wait and see how many of these newcomers can give us a little bit of depth. We did lose quite a bit from the wide receiver room. We did lose our QB1. We got to replace a little bit, but I think 1 for 1 across the board, Oklahoma State can compete with anybody in this league. So
the offensive line depth is better. I know we was pushing that towards this spring. We need to get depth. Because we got hurt last year, and everybody, the backups couldn't step up and make the plays like the starter. So it was a big jump off. But from my understanding, reading the articles and stuff, that the depth is there, and the guys been out there competing, and and hopefully guys can stay healthy. That's the main, because we was 6-0 when we played TCU, and we was winning that game. Me and my son was at the game, man. We should have won that game. And we went to overtime, and they end up, man, then our season kind of derailed. But we'll be fine. We're gonna be fine. It was just a down year for us. We're gonna be fine.
Yes, sir.
I do have a Bedlam question for Tatum.
Okay.
So obviously, what'd you get there? You got there in 2000, right?
Yes.
So Oklahoma State had the 97 season where they went to a bowl game, really fun. Tony Lindsay, all those guys. Then they went back down like a little downslide.
Yeah.
So in 01, which would have been your first year as a starter, and then 02, back-to-back years, y'all beat OU. The first one was an absolute shocker. I about faded out when Rashawn caught that pass.
Right.
The second one was an absolute ass whipping.
Oh yeah.
Which one of those two was more satisfying as the team? Which one was the most satisfying for y'all?
It had to be my junior year.
Yeah.
That one we whooped their butt. They came to Stillwater, and we beat them. We beat them pretty good too.
Beat the brakes off them boys.
Yeah, man. I remember it like it was yesterday, and I'll never forget it.
I think Rashawn is still open.
Yep. They want to take away a run like SMU done, but that's how Woods scored 8 touchdowns against SMU. They want to take the run away. Fine, take it away. We got options outside. And Woods killed them, and all the rest of our receivers killed them. And then, man, that was just. But but my freshman year when they had won a national championship, they beat us 10-7. That was my first touchdown the whole season. The last game of the year was my freshman year, and I scored a 60-yard toss against them. And Roy Williams tried to horse collar me in the end zone, and I scored, but it was right at the end zone. Man, that was a good feeling. That kind of set the tone for the next year, and then Woods had the catch, and that was fun. And man, that was just a good time, man.
That's what most people don't remember about that stretch. Was it very easily could have been 3 in a row because y'all had the ball down deep in the red zone, like on the 10-yard line, and then just brought a ball away on the last play of the game just to win that one in 2000.
Yep, that was Marcellus Rivers. Marcellus could have made that play. Yep.
They could have been 3 years in a row.
Yep, no doubt. But those games, since at the time we wasn't a big, that was our bowl game because we wasn't going to bowls my first 2 years. So we play OU. We got up for that game. The coaches didn't have to get on us or nothing. It was just like the perfect work week, and it showed. I wish we played and got up like that for every other game, but but man, we'll be in a better position. But
to me, that 02 season, as a fan, I was in high school. That was my junior year in high school.
Okay.
And as a fan on the outside looking in, that to me was the turning point for Oklahoma State as an organization.
No doubt.
Les Miles left a couple of years after that, but that kind of put us on the map. And you guys were like, hey, we're for real, and we're going to compete with anybody we play with. Yeah. Even though we may not beat y'all, we're going to compete with you.
Yeah.
And from that was really the springboard for me. I think that you guys laid the foundation for what we have today.
I appreciate that, and then I agree with you. Like my sophomore year, and we I think we won 6 games. My junior and senior year, we turned around, made it back to bowls, back-to-back bowls, and that started the current bowl streak. Now I forget how many years in a row we've been on the bowl streak, but I'm just happy to be part of this beautiful school and be part of them wonderful games and the memories and stuff like that, because them just times I just think about all the time.
All right, so we'll go into some of what it was like, right, playing for Gundy and kind of the old school mentality that we're bringing into it now. Real quick, answer this one. Havoc had a question. No, Arlen Bruce is still with the team. He just can't perform in team activities. Still under scholarship. Still gets to go to the training room, workout room, all that fun jazz, access to GAs and all that good stuff. He's gonna serve his punishment, whatever it is, and he'll be ready to go next year. And we have him for over 3. We have him for 3 years, so we'll be all right.
Okay.
Do you think his punishment is as harsh or harsher than what Des Bryant got?
Oh well, that's a good question. Actually, that's a really good question.
I think Dez was. I think it hurt. I ain't gonna say it hurt Dez more, but I think it. They always hating on us, man, for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, we always like what's the I still don't understand this with Michigan coach Harbaugh. How did he get they take the suspension back and then he get the school gonna suspend him for 3 games. Like, man, what? That's like, how, if that would have been us, man, they would have took our bowl games away. They would have took Mike Gundy rings away. Man, they would have took everything away. Not rings, but they be hating on us, dog. I just don't understand.
That's kind of the joke. That's kind of the running joke with all the OSU fans. Anytime somebody gets in trouble, any school in the country, we're like, oh Lord, how bad's the NCAA going to punish Oklahoma State for this one?
Exactly, like all the time. It's so frustrating, man. Yeah, it's pretty frustrating. But Gundy, Gundy got it going on right now, man. And they said he got his he last year sparked a fire up under him last year to get back on the top because it was a down year and guys were hurt. It's not like we wasn't competing, we were just hurt. And it was young. We had a lot of young guys out there. But this year, man, we got high hopes again. So let's bring it.
All right, Tatum, are you going to be coming down to Stillwater for the opener? I know you got quite a few games that you're going to. And if not, what do you think the average yards per carry needs to be for Oklahoma State to win a Big 12 title this year?
I don't know what games I'll be coming to. I'm going to make a couple. I don't know exactly which one.
All right.
But we need to get back to old school running the ball like we've been. We got the 2 guys to do it. I don't know the third guy. Not that good. I'm familiar with Nixon and Gordon because I've watched them in high school. Here I've been watching them since high school. They've been stuff. Yeah. And I know they're going to, I know what they have in them. Like I said, I don't know about the third guy. But if we can get back to 4 or 5 yards of carry, man, and just keep them chains rolling, being 3rd and 1, 3rd and short, instead of 3rd and 10 the whole game, man, we can compete. Got to get that defensive rest. And we got a new coordinator, and from what I'm understanding, they love the guy, and he hopefully he's an ex of those guys, and he come in here and get. Gundy's never hired a bad coach anyway. Gundy always makes the right hires. I give him that. He hires the right coaches, and they come in and develop the guys. But if we can get that running game going, the whole offensive line is back, I believe.
Yeah. It's the first time we've gone too deep on the O-line since at least 2017.
Man, see, and that's the difference right there, that O-line.
Well, and they brought tight ends and fullbacks, true tight ends and fullbacks back too. So
did they? That's what we. Yeah. Oh yeah. Man.
Hey, you know what?
Blocker. Yes.
All right. R.I.P. to our man Julius Crossland, but the fullback position this year is not only gonna get some love, like he's gonna get some carries because he's earned it. Our converted defensive end is a tried and true fullback. We didn't know it until now. It is going to be fun. It is going to be exciting. Sesi Valahe, he looks good. He'll play. He'll actually play this year. It would have been nice if DeAndre Jackson, which I got to speak to him today. That was pretty cool. If DeAndre wouldn't have got injured, yeah, we'd comfortably go 4 deep. We're going to need Sessi, but for a freshman, he's pretty squared away. Same high school coach as Jalen Warren, same personal trainer. Jalen Warren knows Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren's the reason he came to Oklahoma State. He looks like Jalen Warren, and he runs like him too.
Sessi, remind me who Sessi is again.
Sessi Vlahe. He is a 3-star, high 3-star, low 4-star guy from Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay.
Lot of ties with Jalen Warren.
Is it?
Yeah, he's 5'11". He's 5'11", 202, runs a 4.5.
Oh, okay, running back.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Well, and so you do, you know Gordon, you know Nixon. I think that this comment from Jared's not far off, man. Ollie Gordon, and you tell me, Tatum. I'll tell you why I think Ollie Gordon may actually be in this conversation for some awards later on down the line. It's not just because he's a 6'3", 215, 20-pound running back, but it's his attitude, y'all. When those transfers happened last year, right? You got to know. Oh, I know you know. People came after him hard. People came after him super hard. Like you know what I mean? Like you were too good to be at Oklahoma State. You can go to these 10 schools tomorrow and make this amount of money. And he chose to stay at O State. He turned all of it down. He's a Cowboy. And I think you can agree to some degree, Tatum, when it matters a little bit more, you tend to get a little bit more out of it sometimes.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. Your word is pretty much all you have. You committed to OSU. Like I'll tell, it's kind of like the recruiting process of my son. Like he like, oh, the first offer I get, I'm a recruit. I'm a commit. No, we're not gonna commit just because they offer. You gotta, because once you commit to them, the process is over. Your word, that's your word. You giving them your word. You're gonna be there whenever that time is. So Gordon stayed true to his word. He wanted to be at OSU, and when the guys tried to come poach him away, hey man, I'm staying here. I'm gonna let this build. And that's kind of how I was when Simmons got fired and they brought Miles in, because Miles was a first-time coach. And I was like, we was all on the fence, like, I got a chance to be the guy this year. And I don't know if, but why would I leave? And I'm going to have to go compete and do the same thing all over, make my name for myself all over. So I'm a homer. I'm old school like that. I don't, now it's just flat out, all odds stacked against you. Worst case scenario transfer, but that'd be our last case scenario.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tatum. I'm that dance with the one that brung you. Just
exactly
be loyal and true, basically. And
exactly,
the grass may seem greener on the other side, but sometimes you can get lured away, especially in this new transfer portal and NIL realm. And it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and it doesn't work out for you on the other end.
Like with the NIL, I tell my son, he like, oh, daddy, they paid it. I say, man, if you ball out, they'll pay you. They'll find you. Don't worry about it. You don't have to go looking for the money. The money will find you. You don't, and you don't need no money. You good. Your mom and daddy, we got you. You don't need. Just go to school and worry about school, man. We don't worry about nothing else. Just go play. These kids because I've been coaching. Well, I haven't coached the last 2 years, but up to the last 2 years, I've coached 12 years straight. And these kids, man, they priorities all jacked up. And I be talking to a lot of guys that's getting recruited, like, what are you looking for in recruitment? And a lot of them don't even really have like idea what they want and what they're looking for in the school and stuff like that. So that's half the battle right there. That's why guys be recruiting. And a lot of kids be transferring in high school now. So what do you think they're going to do when they get to college? They're going to transfer out again. Because in Texas, it's bad. These kids down here, if they don't start their sophomore year, they'll transfer out to another school. They don't start at their school, they'll transfer to another school. Like, so if you running like this in high school, you're gonna run like that in college. You're just gonna keep running. It's gonna be a continuous thing.
It starts in Little League though. These kids bounce around on these Little League 7-on-7 and baseball and softball teams. I don't get what I want over here. We don't win as much as I want over here. And these guys are really good at whatever sport I'm playing, and they want me. Okay, so you guys, I'm gonna go play with them. That mentality starts when they're 7 and 8 years old. No
loyalty. It's the parents. The parents.
Yep.
It's no loyalty. A lot of parents never play sports and they trying to live through their kids.
Bingo.
So, man, let them kids be. If they committed to that school, that now, if the team is flat out sorry, now I'm not saying go be the best guy on the sorriest team in the league, but if that's your buddies, your buddies, stay with them, come up, see it through, and finish it through. That's me. That's my process. That's how we handle our recruiting.
Well, now, like when Les Miles got hired on, that's a totally different regime coming in. Like say your new coach is going to run a totally different system. I can understand that, right? Like I didn't sign up to play for this guy. I didn't sign up to play in this system. I don't hold any ill will when you do stuff like that. But when you just do what Trace Ford did and said, I just want to go play down the road for whatever reason, that's weak to me. And I don't understand.
That was weak. That was weak to me, man. Yeah. And I know he's a baller and everything.
Sure.
But you don't go to your rival school. Up the street, man. Come on, bro. You don't go nowhere in the conference.
You transferred and you still bump into your old teammates at Burger King. Like, what the hell, dude? That was weak.
Dude. I didn't like that at all, man. I don't talk down on the kids. Everybody their own thing, my thing, but that was weak sauce to me, man. And then the pitcher went to OU as well. Like,
that one hurt.
That hurt. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
How in the world could you be at OSU for 3-4 years and then go root for the red and white school? There's no way I wouldn't, like my son now. I told him, I said, if OU were to recruit you and that was who you were stuck on, I'll be at the game with an OSU shirt on. Period. I don't care. I hate OU. Now, like I said, if they recruit them, that's fine. But I'm OSU on the visits. I'm OSU at the breakfast in the morning of the visit. I'm gonna be OSU down. They just gonna know.
Yeah, represent.
Always.
Oh, I love it. The skinny on DeAndre. I'm actually going to talk to him again. Might end up having him on the show. Yeah, he got hurt and then kind of got squeezed off the roster. Watching Tatum's great. Yeah, guys, we'll do another like 15, 18 minutes here. So if anybody has any questions for Tatum, go ahead and fire away. Otherwise, man. All right. So when you're looking at this season, I try to get people pretty fired up because you could see the innovative, creative side of Mike Gundy play calling whenever he was under Les Miles, right? And then I think you saw that in the very beginning with him as the head man at Oklahoma State as well. At some point in time, it's like he got a little bit further away from what he loves. He loves this power system. So give Oklahoma State fans a little bit of a sneak behind the curtain. What are we going to see that's different this year? If he's taking some of the 2003 offense, some of the 2013 offense, and kind of putting them together and making this magical baby, what are Oklahoma State fans about to be in for if we legitimately have this 2-3 deep, Bubba, on the O-line?
If that's the case, I think you'll see maybe the quarterback under the center more, more pro style, snapping. You'll see a lot of play action. Bootleg if it's under the center. I think I always like being under the center, the quarterback under the center, because the shotgun stuff, that's that new wave stuff. I'm more old school with the miles, all this spread stuff in high school these days. I would have loved to play in it, be honest with you, because everybody is spread out. But man, if Gundy's back on his X and O's, man, we always lose our coordinators too. That's another thing. So Gundy can never keep his coordinators. So that's another thing that I always heard us. But Dunn's been here for a while. I know Dunn been on a hot seat for a while, but like I say, a lot of guys were hurt. We didn't have a quarterback. So I can't just blame it on Dunn. You know what I mean? I'm not one of them guys like, oh, Dunn got to go. Nah, man, the players got to be accountable. You got to be accountable. If you next up, hey, that's just what it is. That's just you next up. You got to go make plays, go produce. When you get to that level, man, it's the coaches are really not there to baby you. They there to do their job. They there to make sure you transfer, into a young man, graduate.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out on the football field, it doesn't work out. But at least you got that maturity and you getting that degree. But hopefully Gundy can bring that offense back up to where it's been, where we've been lacking the last 2 years.
Well, and he's talked about this for several years now, Cody. He's, that's been kind of a propensity that we couldn't get under center to run a goal line or a short yardage play, right? And so for the last several years, you've seen that come back, even though we're 99.9% out of the shotgun. When we get into those short yardage and goal line situations, we have gone under center, which hasn't been done in a decade at Oklahoma State. So I do think that with this new package, that's already kind of been the trend. And I agree with Tatum. I would love to see a bunch more under center stuff.
Yeah. Well, I know that's what they're doing right now. Right now, they're doing a lot of under center. And when the bullets start flying, we'll see. We'll see.
Nice.
All right. There's a question there for you, Tatum.
Okay, go ahead. I see it at the bottom. My greatest teammate at OSU will probably have to be, man, I was buddies with everybody. My greatest teammate at OSU.
Hey, let me help it narrow down. Who was the dude that you called at 2 a.m. needing some help? Who was that guy?
Man, probably have to be D. Will, G. Rich, Greg Richmond. He's the D-line coach. Yeah, that was my buddy. Tim Burrow, he played fullback with me. But between them three, G. Rich, Tim Burrow, and Darren Williams.
Boy, Tim Burrow, I love that dude. His son and my son have wrestled together. He lives over at Tuesday, which is 10 minutes down the road.
Okay.
Tim Burrow, he's a good dude, man. I love that guy.
That was my guy. Tim was good people, man. He was good people.
Bro, G. Rich is starting to kind of get his name's getting floated around. There's some Texas high school of circles, man. It's good. That's and you talked about earlier the continuity in staff. Yeah. Coach Hammersmith's been there for over 9 years. Duffy's been there for over 10 years. You got McIndoe's been there for 7 to 8 years. Dunn's been there for 10, 12 years. Obviously Rob Glass has been there for 20 years. And then now Coach Greg Richmond's been there for a while. Jaden Walsh has been there for a while. Trayson Wallace has even been there for a while.
Yeah.
It really is cool the way that he's kind of built this thing from within. So for even some of us that get frustrated with Gundy at times, nobody anywhere can say that what he hasn't built is not built to last. Right?
Yeah.
That foundation, your foundation can be built out of a lot of things. But when your foundation's made out of daggone marble or granite or something, it makes life a little easier.
Man, the Gundy one of the top 5. He a top 5 coach in my opinion. I'm be real. Head coach.
Say that louder for the people in the back.
Okay.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Definitely a top 5 coach in my opinion. Like I say, if we would have kept any of our top coordinators, like what's the one that left and went to Penn State? Yurcich. He was a badass. Monken was a badass.
Dana.
Meacham that went to TCU, he was a badass. Like we can't keep him, you know what I mean? So we always got him. And then, man, and if Gundy were to ever get back into the X and O's and play calling, it'll get right back up. But Dunn ready. Dunn's feeling the pressure. I'm pretty sure Dunn's like, I got some stuff up my sleeve. I'm ready to shut everybody up, and we're gonna get this thing back rolling.
Tatum, I really think that Gundy, taking Dunn back to this old school offense, the simplistic nature, it can only help Dunn. I think maybe the jump from wide receiver coach to offense coordinator may have been a little bit much in the beginning, but I really firmly believe, like you said, now that Gundy's back in the X's and O's and showing on paper what he wants done to get done. Dude, I'm expecting a really, really big season. I'm extremely excited.
Yes.
Again, we go too deep on the offensive line for the first time since 2017. I think the magic number for me, buddy, it's 4.5, 4.6 yards a carry. In 2018, when Chuba ran for almost 2,100 yards, we averaged 5.3 yards a carry as a team.
That's it.
When Jaylen Warren was here a couple years ago, 4.7 yards a carry on the season. If we even get close to that Jaylen Warren mark of 4.7 yards a season, that puts us over 2,500 yards. That makes the deficiencies at quarterback that we may or may not have much more manageable. That's a 10-win season. That is
Definitely.
a 10-win season, buddy.
And with our schedule set up the way it's set up, we this is our, if we get that running game going, get some solid play from the quarterback. Man, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but man, man, I can see it. I can see it. It's set up for us. It's set up for us. We don't play none
Tatum,
of the Texas. Only Texas team we got is what? Houston. That's the only Texas team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's at the very end of the season.
Yeah, man.
And
we
beat
gotta
up,
take advantage of that. We got to.
Dana
K-State gonna be tough. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Holgerson done said they're the worst team in the league anyway. So their own coach said they was trash. So
yeah, dude. And Tatum, you know they're going to be beat to hell by the time November rolls around. Their two deep's going to be pretty sore.
Yeah,
pretty sore.
And then I think Texas always get the overhype like every year. You know, I live here, so I always hear about the Longhorns. But man, I never liked the Longhorns. I always hated the Longhorns. You know, I respect Stark, and you know, now some of the players they brought in this year, I've watched in high school. A couple of the receiver they got from my high school, Cook. I know he's gonna be a baller. You know, they got Archie Manning. They got some ballers coming up. But I'm glad they leaving the conference. Them and OU. Oh well, bye. Bye. I think we gonna be just fine. They gonna let them go struggle over there in the SEC and let us get to the top. That's what we need to do. That's just go dominate this conference for the next however.
How long? I was watching a YouTube video earlier. I was showing my son some of the highlights from 21. He was wanting to watch that Bedlam, the highlights of that Bedlam game today, and we were watching it. One thing that I didn't notice in real time was when we get the sack, the first person to hug Coach Gundy was Des Bryant. I didn't realize that in real time. Des Bryant standing on the sideline right there by the coach, hugs Coach Gundy. Gundy's looking over his shoulder like, who the hell's that? But it's Des Bryant, right? What is the relationship like with the coaching staff, particularly Mike Gundy, and you old heads, so to speak, like you guys that were the first batch, or any alumni that want to come back and come to a game? What's that relationship like?
Relationship's getting better and better. When I went back, since I've been home, the relationship's been great. Like I lived in Colorado for 16 years. I've been back in Dallas 2020, and ever since I've been back, I've been going up to the spring games, or I took my son to these camps, the summer camp this past, and they showed us around. G Rich and the coaches showed us around the facility, the upgraded locker room. So it was all love, man. It was all love. They're trying to do more stuff, welcoming the alumni back, and they have alumni weekends, and a lot of guys don't come. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. A lot of guys that don't come, they want to talk about the program, but not coming and supporting. But man, I'm gonna be there when they ask me to come, or even when I can come down, because I bleed orange, and I hopefully I can get my kids too as well. But we'll be there when I can. But I definitely love the coach staff, and they've been tremendous to me. I haven't had any problems with them. I get along. I met the whole staff when I went down for the camp. I haven't met Dunn. I haven't met the running back coach. I met all of them, and we talked, and I had good conversations with all of them.
Good.
Well, I will say this, man, regardless, and this is not just from the fan perspective, is if he's already a good wide receiver and he likes playing wide receiver, legitimately speaking, other than like Ohio State, maybe Bama, there's not very many places you can go in all of college football that produces more NFL wide receivers than Oklahoma State University.
Exactly.
It's 100% factual. So maybe Dunn got in over his head a little bit of his offensive coordinator for a little while, but nobody can ever question what he can do with wide receivers, how he can get them in, because Talon Shetron was a 5-star when he committed to OU. And then he decommits from OU, commits to Oklahoma State, and magically drops to a 4-star. Anyways, he's never had a problem. He's never had a problem getting talent to Stillwater. I don't think he's ever going to have a problem developing that talent in Stillwater. Yeah. So for nothing else, like, and I know that matters for you when it comes to Junior and his development. But like for real, you can say, look at this list of wide receivers we've turned out. I think people hate, or people don't realize, the list of running backs that we've kind of turned out too, right? Chris Carson, if he didn't have that neck injury, but he was rocking and rolling as one of the big times.
He was balling, yeah. And
And then
like
we
you
just
said,
talked about Justice and
yeah, like
Chuba.
we the only school, I think. Well, I don't think we the only school. I know we have 3 Blintkoff winners. I think we might be the only school that I ain't gonna say the only school.
There's
I
only
think,
2 schools.
okay.
Well, us and Texas Tech are the only 2 that have ever done it back to back. I know
Oh,
that
okay,
too.
okay,
No, it had the same player win it twice, basically.
okay,
Blackman did it and Crabtree did it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. But I tell my son now, like he like, Dad, I'm going to Bama. I'm going to Georgia. Okay, you go there, but you're not gonna play till your senior year. You're gonna red shirt, you're gonna play your
Mhm.
senior year. Why go to my thought process coming out when I was going on all these visits? Why go to Texas? Because Texas wanted you to commit to them your sophomore year. Why go to Texas and all these other top schools and compete with 10 freaking running backs when I can go to Oklahoma State and compete with 1? So that you got to think about stuff like that. You got to ask these coaches questions like, "What are y'all recruiting any other running backs?" Or like in my case, receivers. Like, are y'all recruiting any other receivers in Deuce's class, or like out of the state of Texas, or why go to Ohio State when we can come right here to OSU and get the same treatment? And you're gonna be up there sitting the bench and be transferring homesick, complaining to me, "Oh, Daddy, Marvin Harrison Jr. better than me," and no, when you could have been here developing your craft and doing the same thing and playing, because you
Well,
only get experiences by playing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And those coaches may not be actively recruiting a kid, but with the transfer portal now, if a kid that's a stud, like say Marvin Harrison Jr. decided to hit the portal, if you're at an Alabama or Georgia, you bet your ass are going to be interested in that dude.
Yeah.
And that just puts you further on the bid. That just buries you further in the depth chart.
Yes, that the transfer portal is backing a lot of studs out. A lot of kids that's 3 and 4 stars, a lot of them are getting kind of pushed around because of the portal, because they ready to go get a guy that's in the portal, then get a guy to high school. But the portal's just messing up everything, man.
Yeah, bro.
It's messing up a lot of stuff. Now, I don't mind, like I say, if the kids are just flat out being discriminated and you just know you're not gonna play and it's just no hope, then okay. But that'll be our last option. I wouldn't even bring up transferring. That'll be my last option. But these kids, man, you gotta ask the right questions, man. When you don't have to ask the right question when y'all going on these visits, you gotta ask the coaches, what you want. I mean, what are they looking for? How y'all gonna use me? Like, are y'all gonna be recruiting 4 to 5 for how many receivers y'all gonna bring in this year? Stuff like that. And if they not honest with you from there, that's how you should, trim your list down. It's not all about, oh, I'm gonna go to Ohio State and I'm gonna go to Bama. No, man, you're gonna be sitting on the bench. You're gonna be calling me every day talking about you homesick and ready to come home. No, we're gonna go where we can play. We're gonna go where we got an opportunity.
Well, you know what? Hey, Tatum, before we let you skedaddle on off of here, I wanted to you got to play with Colorado, kind of whenever you were they're back in the fold now. Do you see the Big 12 as, I don't know, a conference that is destined to be successful, or do you believe in this? It's eventually going to merge into this Mega 2 thing.
I hope not. I hope we kind of stay where I don't want to add the Washington States and Oregon States. I don't want to add them. I hope we find where we are right now. We don't need to add anybody unless it's Notre Dame or Clemson or Florida State or something like that. That's it. Or if we leaving to go to the SEC, that's the only time we need to talk about it. Other than that, we fine. We don't need any more schools. We are fine. And I'm happy with just how it is. I'm happy just how it is. We need to keep it just like that. But
what do you think? What do you think, Jason? What do you think, buddy?
Well, I'm glad you asked him about Colorado there, because that kind of segues in. I would be remiss, man, if I didn't ask you a couple of different Broncos questions. I'm a diehard OSU fan. I grew up in Norman, went to high school in Norman, always been a diehard OSU fan. And for whatever reason, I've always been a diehard Denver Broncos fan too. So kind of just give a little synopsis of what your time in Denver was like. Like, was it a good experience for you? I know you had some success. So
yeah, I had a great time. I got drafted there. My first 3 seasons were great. My first season, I came into a team that I already had. They had when I got there, it was 8 years in a row of 1,000-yard running back. So they were producing running backs left and right, or 1,000-yard rushers left and right. And so that was big for me, and trying to stay on that path with that. But they treated me good. I had great times. I had good memories. Went to AFC Championship. Went to the playoffs.
Jake Plummer was your quarterback that year, right?
Jake Plummer. We lost to the Steelers in my second year in the AFC Championship game.
Oh.
Man, that was fun. But it sucked losing. But it was just fun just to be in that point. And like they say, you got to cherish your moments because you never know if you ever gonna make it back to them games.
Well, you were technically a part of that famous Clinton Portis Champ Bailey trade. They used that draft pick that they acquired to draft you, correct?
Yep.
So basically,
that's what I was saying. Yeah, when you brought up that run, that's what I was saying about that run. I had when Portis came back to play the Broncos, Redskins came to play the Broncos. That was my first time playing against Portis, and I had 3 touchdowns, like 100 and some yards. And I think Portis had 100 yards on us. He was the only back that year to have 100 yards on us. And but I had 3 touchdowns. That was a good time. And then we got Champ Bailey. But of course I didn't live up to the Portis hype, but I did my part.
Yeah. There for a while,
Portis was a beast, man.
Oh yeah. There for a while, I was on cloud 9 as a fan. Like, you got drafted to the Broncos. Darren Williams got drafted to the Broncos.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was just a little bit of a pipeline from Stillwater to Denver there for a little while. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple guys, but I mean, you and Darren Williams showed out. Like, you guys had a very successful showing in Denver, and to beat Oklahoma State guys, I know it's tragic what happened to D, but you guys represented Oklahoma State very well. And as a young kid, when being from Norman and getting shit talked to all the time about being an Oklahoma State fan, y'all were like a bright spot for me, man. Like, look at my dudes are up there in the NFL making stuff happen. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Tatum, man.
And Cody, you still living? You in Colorado Springs, correct?
Yes, sir.
So when I come down to a game, I'll remind you, and you can meet me at the game. I'll get you.
I already told Logan that you were coming up for the Denver and Washington Commanders game, and I give credit to my son. My son's smart, right? He goes, we can go to that, and I was like, yeah. And he goes, the Washington Redskins have an OSU player, Dad. That's what you want to watch anyway. So I was like, So he's already sales pitching me, man. He's like, whatever game Tatum's going to, we need to go to it too. So yeah. We'll probably meet up with you, do something, buddy.
Absolutely, man. That'll be fun.
We'll get old Jason to hop in his rig and swoop Mama Bear up and get on the highway.
I'm there, brother. I am.
Yeah.
Come on down. September 17th. That'll be the first game I'm going to.
Any excuse I have to get to Colorado, I take it.
Yeah. I still have love for Colorado. I miss the scenery, the mountains and that's all I miss. I don't miss the snow. I don't miss the cold. I'm happy in Texas with this heat. I'll take this heat over the snow any day. So
yeah.
Right.
I'm with you, buddy. I am with you. Well, brother, man, thank you very, very, very much. It's always an honor to have a little bit of your time. I knew Jason would get a kick. He's a huge Broncos fan, and what you were able to do in Denver, man. I didn't really care about the Broncos. I was a big John Elway guy or a big Dan Marino guy, so I didn't really care. But whenever you were there, I didn't miss a game, buddy. Didn't miss a game.
Well, appreciate you, man. Appreciate both of you fellas, and I appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Anytime, absolutely.
Anytime.
Yeah, thanks for letting me ask you some questions, dude. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all. And anytime, during the season, we'll come, maybe after 2 games,
bro.
We'll, come back on and talk about what we see.
So remind me again, are y'all back in DeSoto? Is your son playing for DeSoto?
No, man. We in Frisco, North Dallas.
Okay. So what high school does he play for?
He plays for Frisco Heritage.
Okay.
Frisco has 12 high schools.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm in the biggest suburb of Dallas.
So
man, 12 high schools, dog, and this like 4 or 5 of them. Four of them some dogs. We're on the cusp of turning into that, hopefully, because we got the players. This is our first year, like I said, we'll see, because we've been running stuff in middle school, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. So now it's time to put it together on varsity.
You said Frisco Heritage, right?
Frisco Heritage.
I'm on
now Wrangell and Nixon, they went to Frisco Lone Star. and
Oh, okay.
Marvin Mims. They went
Yeah.
to Frisco also. Now that was the last year they were badass with Nixon. Well, they badass every year. Don't get me lying, but that was last year. They went 3 or 4 rounds deep with Rangel and Nixon.
I'm gonna look you boys up on Max Preps and kind of track what you guys are doing this season.
Yeah, man. Good luck to your son, and hope he stay healthy and all that good stuff. And Cody, good luck to you guys and stuff, man.
Heck yeah, buddy.
Okay,
Well,
fellas.
I'll reach out. We won't be a stranger, but yeah, man, I greatly appreciate it, Jason. This is good stuff. I appreciate your time as well, brother, man. Alrighty, y'all. Yeah.
All right, fellas.
I don't ask for money, donations, whatever. Hit the like button. That's all you got to do. Alrighty, y'all. Like it, love it. God bless. Go Pokes. Later, guys.